You know, the spectator at a tennis match seldom receives the credit he deserves, because watching a tennis game is a task of considerable effort. To follow the flight of the ball is usually pretty strenuous on the neck muscles, if you know what I mean. At any rate, it's almost impossible to observe and examine the fundamentals of the game while watching a match such as the one Fred Perry and I have just completed out here at the Forest Hill Stadium. So without further ado, let's step into our office and we'll show you a few camera close-ups of the many basic points, which if properly coordinated will result in winning form. The first important step is to develop the three basic strokes: the forehand drive, the backhand drive, and the service. As in every sport, timing is a prime requisite of good tennis. Accordingly, once timing has been mastered, strength is not essential to good form. Here we see a young lady demonstrating that coordination is more important than force. A ball approaching on the player's right calls for a forehand return. This ball bounces to the player's left and is returned with a backhand stroke. Simple? Simple, unless of course you happen to be left-handed. In which case you merely reverse the procedure. Hey, what goes on here? Well, anyway, you see what we mean. Problem 1 is to select the proper grip. The Eastern grip is most widely used because it permits a natural, easy stroke. Here's a simple way to demonstrate the position of the hand in relation to the racket in the Eastern grip. The racket face is perpendicular to the court surface. The palm is flat on the racket face and is drawn straight back along the handle to the butt. The Eastern grip is also known as the shake hands grip. It is just like shaking hands with the racket. The fingers are held slightly apart, assuring a relaxed but firm grip. The wrist is behind the racket for extra power. The most important advantage of the Eastern grip over the Western or Continental grips is the complete range it affords. In other words, low, waist high, and high shots can be returned with equal ease. Comparing the Western grip with the Eastern grip, we find that the hand is moved 1/4 of a turn to the bottom of the handle. So that the racket inclines at an angle of 45 degrees towards the court surface. This grip is used most effectively in play off hard-surfaced courts. It is ideal for high shots, but it is awkward and inadequate for the low ones. The player using the Western grip is at his best with high bounding balls. To assume the Continental grip from the Eastern grip, the racket is now turned 1/4 of a turn in the opposite direction. The racket face inclines upward at a 45-degree angle. This grip is excellent for low shots. But when it comes to returning high ones, we find it is more difficult. The player must rely mainly upon a strong wrist. It is for these reasons that most players have come to regard the Eastern grip as the grip affording the widest range, and as such it is recommended. Anticipation and preparation for each return depends primarily on always keeping your eyes on the ball. The movement of your body is governed by what your eyes observe. Only by gauging and anticipating where the ball will land can you be in position to meet it. Concentration in carefully following the path of the ball is a prime requisite for good tennis. So whatever you do, don't take your eyes off the ball. As you wait to receive the ball, face the net and lean forward slightly. To return a forehand, pivot on your right foot, step forward with your left foot. The left shoulder points in the direction the ball is to be returned. To meet the ball, move into position quickly by this side-skipping movement. But when it becomes apparent that you must cover a greater distance, start sprinting. However, side-skipping enables you to change directions faster. The ball is hit with the center of the racket face and the arm extended as far as is comfortable from the body. Next, the backswing. At the end of the backswing, the racket head is dropped, prescribing an arc. Thus, the racket swings up and forward into the ball. Proper weight shifting and balance is essential for smooth, fluent strokes. To start the forehand drive, swing the racket back, shifting your weight to the right foot. On the forward swing, the weight shifts to the left foot. The force of the entire body is behind the swing. The follow-through is of great importance because the upward movement it imparts helps lift the ball over the net. Your position at the end of the shot shows whether the follow-through is proper. If you face the net and the racket head is wide and above your left shoulder, the follow-through is correct. For better control, it is advisable to impart what is known as topspin. This is accomplished by a slight forward tilt of the top edge of the racket. The ball is hit at a point slightly ahead of the left hip. Well, it's true that practice makes perfect, especially in tennis. I think it's about time we went on to the next problem at hand, the backhand drive. Some players are somewhat meek about this stroke and prefer to build their games around their forehand. However, the backhand is a valuable weapon which can be and must be developed. For backhand shots, when using the Eastern grip, it is necessary to turn the right hand a quarter of a turn toward your body, placing the knuckles on top of the racket handle. Some players prefer to gain extra flexibility with the thumb around the handle, although this position steadies the hand and gives more force to the drive. Next to the grip, footwork is the keynote to the successful backhand. Pivot on your left foot and step forward with your right foot. In the backhand drive, your weight shifts first to the left foot. Then as you swing forward, put your weight behind the stroke. Shift it to the right foot. The backhand drive can be compared with the swing of a left-handed baseball batter. When right shoulder and back face the net, the proper backswing position is reached. The wrist behind the racket assures a firm swing as in the forehand drive. Bend the right knee to transfer your weight to your left foot as you swing into the ball. Shoulder and head are held back until the impact. As you turn your body for the backswing, keep your eyes glued to the ball by looking over the right shoulder. Meet the ball slightly ahead of your right hip with the arm fully extended. The racket head continues up and across the body in the backhand follow-through, finishing wide and above the right shoulder. The body is automatically turned into position facing. As you make the backswing, the head drops, prescribing an arc. Thus you swing up and forward into the ball. The racket is tilted forward slightly to impart the necessary topspin for contact. It is advisable to master the timing to enable you to return the ball on the rise. That is, as it ascends from its first bounce. This is preferable to swinging at a descending ball. Valuable time is lost if the ball is hit after it has passed the top of its bounce. By taking it on the rise, the speed of the return is increased because the impact is greater. A strategic advantage of returning balls on the rise is that your opponent has less time to prepare for his next shot. Now let's go on to the third basic stroke, the service. Combined either with a strong forehand or backhand, it is often a deciding factor in championship play. The secret to a successful service is proper timing. The service grip is the same as the backhand grip. However, the thumb is always around the handle. The server stands close to the center mark, with the left foot a few inches behind the baseline and the right foot back about 12 inches, at an angle of 75 degrees. The balls are held firmly. The backswing and the toss of the ball are simultaneous. The rhythm of this pendular movement, coordinating backswing and toss, should be practiced until it becomes a habit. By keeping the left arm straight, the ball will be tossed vertically and properly. Do not toss it by a flip of the wrist. At the beginning of the serve, your weight is back on the right foot, and it remains there as you swing back. On the forward swing, transfer your weight to the left foot, and again the force of the entire body is behind the swing. This force properly transmitted through the racket is the power needed for correct service. For more and fluent power, keep the arm completely extended in the backswing. The elbow is bent to form a loop behind the head and the arm uncoils to hit the ball. After the impact, the racket continues straight ahead, finishing up across the body on the left side. The face of the racket is inclined forward slightly at the impact. The toss and swing should be so timed that the center of the racket face meets the ball with the arm fully extended. If the ball is tossed too low, the smoothness of the stroke is broken. When it is tossed too high, it will strike the top edge of the racket or break the stroke. The service alternates between the two service courts. Having examined the three basic strokes, we are ready to advance into the final stage of the game, the kill, or, if we want to be technical, the smash and the volley. Let us begin with the overhead smash because it is so much like the service that most of the service fundamentals can be applied. An overhead smash should be an outright winner. Its only major departure from the service is the slight crouch and bending of the knees. If the lob is very high, let it bounce first. This gives more time to prepare an easier ball to hit. Volleying greatly increases the potency of your attacking game. In order to achieve a certain degree of safety, it is necessary to employ a bit of strategy. That is, your opponent must be driven into a defensive position before you advance to the net. The eastern grip is used for the forehand volley. Facing the net, turn your body sideways and transfer your weight from right to left foot. Make the backswing as the ball approaches. Because of the speed of the approaching ball, there is no need for a long backswing. It is shorter than that used for the drive. It is especially important to remember to keep your eyes on the ball because there is less time to make the stroke. The ball is met at a point that is parallel with the front hip. The racket head must always remain above the wrist. On low shots, it may be necessary to bend down in order to maintain the proper wrist position. Notice that in some cases, there isn't time to turn the body sideways, forcing the volleyer to face the net. The service grip is employed for the backhand volley, which is essentially the same as the forehand volley. Contrary to its name, the half volley has nothing in common with the volley. It is a ground stroke that is taken immediately after the ball strikes the court. As such, it involves the fundamentals of the basic drive. However, backswing and follow-through are somewhat shorter than in the drive. The racket face meets the ball almost flat at a point directly behind the bouncing spot. If the racket face is open, the shot will be deflected upwards. Therefore, to deflect the ball properly, the racket face must be slightly closed. And now, before we adjourn, Charlie Wood, who is one of the outstanding professionals in the country, and I would like to demonstrate a few of the fundamentals we have discussed by playing a few serious points.